What's up guys, Pedro here, and on this video I'm going to show you how I built this simple farmhouse desk. Coming up right after this. Welcome back. If we're just meeting, my name is Pedro, and on this channel we like to share recipes from our family and friends, and sometimes we just like to have fun. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's get right into the video. Okay, as usual, I'm going to give you the material list first. You're going to need 9 2x4s, 8 feet long. I just used a scrap piece of 1x4 that I had. It was about 4 feet long, and a scrap piece of plywood, 1/4 inch thick, and about 18 inches by 18 inches, depending on the size of drawer that you want to make, or if you even want to put a drawer in it. Now, if you don't want to put a drawer in the desk, you could build this entire project with just 2x4s. You're going to need some, of course, screws and some glue as well. And of course, whatever kind of product that you want to use to finish your project with. I did a stress look on this project. First time I ever did it, actually. I stained the whole thing. I stained the base and I stained the top, and I painted the base with a flat white paint, and then I went back and I sanded different spots to distress it. And I think it came out pretty good. Ding. The wife is messaging. The wife is messaging. Let's see what she said now. The first thing I did was cut all my 2x4s to length. I started with the top by cutting 4 of the 8-foot 2x4s in half, which left me with a little shy of 48 inches. Then I cut my legs at 28 inches. I cut 2 back pieces at 43 inches. Okay, just to clarify, I cut 4 legs at 28 inches. Then these pieces, I'm calling the end pieces. It fits in between the legs here. Fits in between the legs here. There's 4 of these pieces. There's 1 here, 1 down here, and of course 2 on the other side as well. These pieces I cut at 16 3/4 inches. I'll tell you how I did the X braces in a little bit. Now, this is the front piece, which was 27 inches. I had to cut it short here to leave room for the drawer, and I'll show you I had to put a brace in between here and here underneath the top. I'll show you how I did that a little bit too. The other pieces are the back. That back piece there, and there's 1 at the top as well. Both of those pieces were cut at 43 inches. Now, you don't have to use a joiner. It sure makes things nice. It makes everything go together a lot better. But if you don't have one, that's fine too. What I did was I took my boards and I ran one side about 3 passes over the joiner. Then I set my table saw up at exactly 3 inches, and I put the side that I milled on the joiner up against the fence on the table saw, and cut the other side off with the table saw, giving it a nice square flat edge on both sides. Okay, it's time to put this thing together. One of the first things I did was glue all the top pieces together and then clamp them. Notice how I put the clamps. I staggered them, some on top and some underneath. This helps to keep the board flat. You want to try to keep this board as flat as possible. Also, don't forget to wipe off any excess glue with a damp cloth. This will help you when you go to stain it. If you don't get all the glue off, it's pretty much going to mess up your finish. Okay, so I put the rest of the desk together using a pocket hole jig by Craig. This is the first time I used it for a piece of furniture, and it worked perfectly. If you've used one of these jigs before, you might want to skip ahead on the video. I'm going to take just a minute to show those of you who have not used one how to use it. Okay, first you want to set your stop on your drill bit, and you do that by loosening that little set bolt with an Allen wrench, and the stop slides up and down on the shaft. Now you take it and you set it in your guide here, and you set it to the thickness of wood that you're using. In this case, of course, it's 1.5 inches. So you take the biggest part where it stops right there on 1.5 inches. And let's see, I'll bend it down here where you can see it. Yeah, it stops on 1.5 inches right there. You have your stop right up here. Put it to 1.5 inches right here, and then you tighten your set screw back down. So when you drill your holes, it's going to stop in the guide like that right there. It's going to make the perfect depth. It's going to drill the hole the perfect depth. Let's make sure we got it nice and tight. And double check it, make sure it's 1.5 inches. That's right. Perfect, 1.5 inches. Okay. I got one of these quick connect bits that came with the kit. But they also have these. You can buy these on Amazon. Actually, you can probably get the other ones too. Next thing you want to do is set your guide right here. This guide right here also has the thicknesses of the wood, and I've got it set right now for 1.5 inches. And you do that by loosening this little screw right here, and this slides up and down to whatever thickness you want, and then tighten it back down. Then we're going to take our wood and we're going to set it in here and clamp it down, and we'll drill our holes. Okay, once you've got your stop adjusted and you've got this part right here adjusted to the correct thickness of the wood, you take your wood and you simply just put it in here. You adjust it with this little piece right here, and then you clamp it down. It's just nice and snug. It doesn't have to be super tight, just nice and snug. And then take your drill and you put it in your guides here according to how wide your board is. And I'm making a mess on my counter, but simply drill your holes in your board, pop your clamp. Now, if this was one of the end pieces, I would flip it around. Whoops, flip it around this way, and set it back in here just like I did the other side, and do the same thing. And I have a mess to clean up. But it's that simple, guys. And you got your pocket holes here and here. And what I did was I took my legs and I put them on the sides here and made it flush with the top. And then put my screws in this direction here and that direction there. And before I did, of course, I put glue on the ends here on both sides and put my legs up against there and put my screws in. And it was pretty strong joint. And everybody knows that once that glue dries, man, that wood will bust before that joint gives up. I also bought these plugs here. These plugs are specially made for these holes, and all you do is you take one of these plugs right here and you slide it in the hole. Once you've put your screw in, of course, you slide it in your hole right here. But I put a little glue on it first, and then I slid it into the hole and tapped it in with a mallet. And then once the glue dried, I went ahead and sanded it down and painted over it. I got these on Amazon. I'll put a link. I am not getting any kind of money from Craig or anything. I just like their products. And I bought these off of Amazon as well. And I bought this kit of screws off Amazon as well. I like their products. They're a little expensive, but they get the job done, and they're very easy to use. You can see here how I attached each piece. I built the ends first, then I attached each end using the two back pieces. I attached the front piece to the left end and cut a brace to secure the front to the back. I cut a thin brace to attach the front end to the middle brace, cutting notches at the top to make sure that it was flush with the top. Make sure that the end piece and the middle brace are square so that you won't have any problems when you go to install a drawer. For this board here, I'm making a crisscross across here. I'm going to line this board right up with the corner there, right up with the corner like that. I'm going to make a mark. And that way I know how to cut this. There, now I have my angle on the top and the bottom for these pieces. I'm going to make a crisscross, so I'm going to put this partially in here. Now, I've already marked this, but I'm just doing this to show you guys. So I've decided to, I put it in halfway. What I'm going to do is mark these boards here and here. And I'm going to take my saw and I'm going to cut, I've already marked them of course, I'm going to cut right in here, and then I'm going to cut this section out right here. I'm going to cut this section out, and then they will fill this whole section right in here. And hopefully that'll look good. It's time to sand everything down and get ready to paint. After I installed the X-braces, I stained the top first, then the whole base. After the stain dried, I put 2 coats of flat white paint on the whole base. Then I measured and cut the pieces for the drawer. Now I'm cutting dados for the drawer bottom. And this is what it looks like without the bottom. I used the pocket hole jig for the drawer as well. Of course, I had to adjust the jig for 3/4 inch. Then I glued it and screwed it. I glued the top and clamped it and used a pocket hole jig from underneath to secure it. After I stained, painted, and distressed the desk, I added 2 coats of a matte finish polyurethane. And this is how the desk looks in our bedroom. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share it if you're so inclined. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Until next time, God bless. Y'all take care.